This is the full moon night of June, and all the samanas have reaffirmed their commitment to the sila and following the tradition. And there's also my last night here at Abhayagiri, and tomorrow Ajahn Pasno told me we leave at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's been very pleasant. It's good to see that this monastery is prospering and doing so well through the efforts of Ajahn Pasno, Ajahn Amaro, and all the monks and lay people to make this something that is of use, of benefit to both oneself and to all sentient beings. And so this Buddhist meditation is very interesting to see it being sought after and appreciated and encouraged in countries like this. Previously, I remember when I lived here in California about 40 years ago, I thought I was the only one interested. So I was a bit lonely. I was in a graduate school and I talked about Buddhism, and they all gave me this kind of look of disdain, like there was some kind of cop-out, settling for some kind of superstition. So I thought, well, to survive here I just have to shut up and not tell anyone. That's what they call a closet Buddhist. But now it's very encouraging to see how wide the interest is here in California. Of course, there's Buddhism in all its various forms and varieties, from traditional forms from Southeast Asia to different Mahayana schools, Tibetan and Chinese, Japanese, and all kinds of other modern interpretations, American Buddhism or California Buddhism, I suppose. In Britain it's called British Buddhism. But to me, these the schools or the conventions or the different traditions are, not to be clung to, because what we're really interested in is the Buddha Dhamma, awakening to the truth of the way it is, rather than aligning ourselves with some kind of convention and then being bound, limited, and blinded by our own attachments, even though we might be attached to something very good. But attachment is attachment, and if attachment or clinging done out of ignorance then obscures any possibility of enlightenment or seeing the truth. So even being attached to even the very best conditions is still an obstruction. So getting to the very essence of Buddhism, the Buddha's teaching, the Buddha never taught Buddhism. No, he wasn't actually a Buddhist. He taught the Dhamma. So, in the traditional sense, in the historical sense, then Buddha is a word which means like a human individual awakened, seeing things as they are. So that's why you can have images of the Buddha. You can have human forms, like Buddha Rupas are the human form, sitting in the aware, awake. Buddha Rupas are usually conveying that image as an icon. It's a kind of traditional form, artistic form, but its message is awakenedness, the human individual awake and aware. So it's not meant to be some kind of idol that you project all kinds of powers and other things into, but it's It's an image that helps us to remember that in ourselves, that Buddha, that awakened state, that is the real refuge that we can only find within ourselves rather than in somebody else or in some external way. Now, language itself is limited. Remember that thinking is a function of the mind, and thinking is a dualistic function. It can, if you have good, you have to have bad, and right and wrong, black and white, and so forth. So thinking itself is linear, it's dualistic. Now this word dualism means, if you're dividing the universe means one into several or many or myriad. And that's what thinking does. It's a divisive function of the mind. It's critical function. And as long as one is bound to the thinking process, then of course you'll always be in that state of feeling incomplete, unfulfilled, something wrong, something lacking. If you can't get beyond your own thinking process, and you're just bound to ideas, opinions, views, thoughts, no matter how refined, good, or superlative they might be, it's still its very function is division and dualism. We use our thinking process to criticize. We compare. We notice how one thing is bigger or smaller, better or worse. And so as long as we are identified and bound into the thinking process, it will only be caught on that level of maybe we can refine our thinking process and develop more altruistic, more sublime patterns of thinking, but it's still not liberating. So it's very important to contemplate, what thinking, what language is, how words affect consciousness. Now, consciousness itself isn't dualistic. So when we are trapped in our own thinking process, then our conscious experience tends to seem dualistic. So there's a sense of I'm Ajahn Sumedho, you're separate from me. When I through visual consciousness, and using my eyes I can see that I'm sitting here and you're sitting over there. It's obviously, a division of some sort. And so the senses themselves are divisive functions, because they pick up that which is an object. So the eyes can notice what is in their field of vision through consciousness, or sound through the ears, smell through the nose, taste through the tongue, feeling through the body. And the mind itself, caught in the thoughts and the memories, the conditions of the mind, the sanya sankharas that we create in the present always create this division, this dualism, this separateness. So how can we get outside that? How can we free ourselves from that ailment? Because that's why the world is the way it is, why human society is so fraught, so confused, why we have wars and strife and acrimony, why even in relationships we have difficulty relating one person to another because of our own thoughts, our own views, the seeming separateness which we cling to and hold to, and then of course even with the most loving relationship, the most ideal relationship with somebody else, still there's something missing in it.